I'm Michaela.
And I'm Jen.
And we're your best bridesmaids. Today we're continuing our series on choosing your venues by giving you some pointers on how to pick your photographer. We're a little passionate about this one.
So one thing you want to think about when you are looking for photographers is the type of style.
So one of the most popular types of style these days is photojournalistic. What does that mean, Jen?
It's like the candid moments, the emotion, the story. Getting those moments are really important to the photojournalistic style.
Or you might also hear it be referenced as documentary style. So basically, a photographer who classifies themselves as such is going to try to capture the day with as little to no interruption as possible. So when you're all getting ready in the room together, if there's hairbrushes all over the floor and there's curling irons everywhere, they're not going to be taking the time to move those items because that's what the day really looked like. And so that's what they're going to be capturing, is kind of all of the elements of your day as they were.
So when you think of photojournalistic, documentary style, think candid moments.
Another popular type is the more editorial type style, which is going to be really high fashion, things that look like they are straight out of a magazine. And I'm not talking about the little details of this and that. I'm talking about the actual bride and groom portraits themselves are going to have that very high-end fashion type flair to them.
Editorial is going to make you guys look like models.
Mm-hmm. Another very popular style is just your very traditional portrait photographer. And somebody who specializes in portraits is going to be kind of focusing a little bit more on getting those very posed moments of the day. So they are going to be phenomenal at taking your family portraits after the ceremony. They're going to be phenomenal at taking, the wedding party, setting up all of those big traditional shots that most people are going to want. And a lot of the editorial or the photojournalistic photographers, they're going to grab those shots as well. But a more traditional portrait photographer, that's going to be their main focus.
Yeah. On top of that, if you are the type of bride that really wants the shots of your guest all at the table, looking at the camera, walking around the ceremony and say, hey, look at the camera, and you want those shots of people smiling, looking, that is the perfect style for you. Another style that tends to be a favorite amongst at least the brides that contact us is the fine art. You're going to see a lot of black and white. Sometimes this involves a lot of post-editing as well. So you're going to see like the scratches, the old film look. That is something that is really popular along the fine art.
So a fine art photographer is not only going to be looking for how to create the perfect canvas when they're setting up the shot, but they're also going to be focusing quite a bit on the post-production, like Jen mentioned. They're going to be making your pictures look more like a piece of art rather than just a photograph.
So if you are the type of bride that imagines this large canvas over your mantle or your couch, and you just imagine it being like a piece of art, this is a great direction to head.
And we're not trying to say that, those kind of genres of photography don't overlap with each other, because they definitely do. But those are just kind of like the four main areas that we see photographers classifying themselves as in today's photography industry. So once you've kind of figured out what style of photography you like, go ahead and do a Pinterest search. Go ahead and do a Google search. Find some local photographers in your area that would classify themselves into the category that you seem to like.
One of my favorite sources is wedding blogs. There's probably a few that you might follow, finding that style that you like. So say if it's Style Me Pretty, you're really drawn to that, do a search for your area, see if there's some photographers that pop up, and look on their website. Maybe that's going to be your match.
So if you're having trouble finding a photographer that you love based off of the resources that Jen mentioned, another great idea is just to ask around to some of your friends. Who is their photographer when they got married, and just kind of get a good feel of word-of-mouth referrals for people in your area.
You can even put on Facebook, looking for a photographer. People are pretty honest. If they were happy with the type of service they got, more than likely they're going to refer their photographer as well.
So then say you get a great list of recommendations from your friends, but you end up reaching out to those photographers and they're already booked. Go ahead and ask that particular photographer for who they might recommend. Normally they are in touch with a lot of other great photographers in the area.
More than likely, wherever city you're at, they're going to be able to give you some good recommendations.
So once you found a few photographers who you think could work for your big day, it's a great idea just to go out on a date with each other. Go out for coffee, go grab some dinner, and just get a feel for the way that you kind of connect.
So you've met with a couple photographers and you think you found the one. I highly recommend to go with your gut, because this person you're going to spend hours planning with, as well as hours on the day. You'll actually probably spend more time with your photographer than your spouse. So you want to be with someone you enjoy being around.
Yeah, make sure you're comfortable with them. You're going to be very vulnerable in front of the camera. You're going to be sharing these intimate moments. You want to make sure that the person behind the camera is somebody that you trust, that you can kind of let loose with, and that is going to be there for you on your wedding day. I know both of us are, blessed to have clients that we end up walking away and being friends with them even after the wedding. So just finding that great connection, feeling comfortable, and like she said, trusting your gut. If it feels right, if you feel like they've got what it takes to capture your wedding, then go for it. Thanks so much for watching. We hope that some of our tips were helpful for you, and that when you go into your photography meetings, you feel confident and ready to book the perfect photographer for your day.
You don't want to miss next week. We will be helping you choose your entertainment. So don't forget to subscribe. And happy planning. Choosing your DJ.